To start this question, let's go ahead and show our vertical angles. If you have x right there, then you have x right there. If you have y here, you have y here. Now, let's call the opposite supplementary angle to x. Let's call that one y, and we'll see why we're right to do so. Because that y would give you a vertical angle y here. And if the lines are parallel, we have the same fingerprint at the other end. So we would have y, y, x, and x here. So we've got all our angles labeled now. And now let's imagine the numbers they're giving us. If y is 65, which it can't be, then, these two angles have to add up to 180. If y were 65, then to make this 180, we would need 115. So we know that x cannot equal 115 because y actually can't be 65. But y is less than 65. So what if y is 64? That would make x 116 to make them 120. So x can be equal to 116. And that's when y was 64. And let's try one more. Because y needs to be going in the smaller direction. It's less than 65. So now if y is 63, x would be 117. So we know that x is kind of starting at 115, even though it can't exactly be 115. In theory, it could be 115.1 because y can't be equal to 65, but in theory, it could be 64.999. So what we did is we used the forbidden values of 65 and 115 as our starting points for plugging in. We plugged in y in the smaller direction and tested to see what x would be in each of those situations. And now we can definitely see that x has to be greater than 115, which is B.